all we are really doing is cheating, because that's all we ever do. So I need a M4. Um, I don't know if I made stock. I'm guessing that this would probably be the most recent M4 that I made. Yo, what up, Openist? So we'll start here, because I think starting with this would be fine, and then do what am I doing? I could just look up 416, it'd be fine. 416. So this is Mark II? Yeah, alright, so this is Mark II. Should be this one. Yeah, we'll import on top of this. It's super interesting to see like how close I was to getting the size and stuff right for this type of stuff. Since it's like I got better at making these as I went. Alright, so we're going to separate the stock here. Was that everything? No. Okay. Oh, did I? Yeah, alright. I have it coming down this way as well. Just delete that out real quick. To use this button. Boom. Alright. Perfect. So grab the stock, grab it, and then take this and delete that out of the way because we no longer need it. And now, all we need to do is basically somewhat modify the inside of this to fit over the other buffer tube that we have up here. So we should be able to delete this stock out. We can. And then should be like maybe both of these, and it should fit there, I think. So if we just grab, let's just delete this out. It's a pretty simple design because there's like newer Lego pieces that you could use for that, so it's not too bad to make. I've seen a couple people start using it, like a design close to it, like, you know, not necessarily my design, but something close to it. So, like I said, it's definitely like relatively easy to make. Like, it's not a super complicated design to make. Okay, so it does not fit. So let's go ahead and think it might be this down here. Which this is kind of superfluous anyways, because it was just like left over there from um, the honey badger, because I used this on the honey badger stock was the design really. So boom. Okay, so that goes there. It's basically a perfect fit. Yeah. All right. So I'm super happy with that. And now, wait, is this a? Nah. So we need to kind of like extend this out by a little bit, but we can do that. That's no big deal. Should definitely though come back through and reattach most of this onto this. I'm not too concerned with coming through and like filling it in. If I ever wanted to like make it in real life, I would of course fill it in. So I'm just gonna kind of shape it up as it needs to be and call it a day. Put like basically like an outer shell on it and just be done with it. Like I said, if I ever wanted to actually make it in real life, I would come back through and fix this. Far From Home. I haven't seen Far From Home yet. And I just, yeah, I've been really, really busy lately. When you work two jobs and you're working like 60, 80 hours a week, it's pretty hard to do other types of things. I figured it was a good movie. I think the only like the thing that I didn't like about it, and this is just from me seeing the previews and stuff, is that clearly that's Mysterio, right? And then you had like a whole bunch of people who were sitting here like, oh my gosh, Mysterio was a good guy in the movie. How bold of Marvel. And then literally you had me sitting here like, no, Mysterio is not good at all. He is like completely evil. So chances are he's going to betray someone somewhere down the line. And then later on, through spoilers, I found out, yeah, of course he does. He's evil. Which is why I was just kind of like, I can't believe people would sit here and be like, Mysterio's a good guy now. They're subverting our expectations. And then when he betrayed them, they were all sitting there like, I can't believe he betrayed everyone. Dang. It's just so stupid. Oh man, like no shit. My problem is, as someone who like writes their own like book and stuff, I've written books. I'll say books. Um, as someone who writes on some type of deeper level, things become really predictable kind of fast. Uh, TV shows that are dramas, I can basically tell you exactly what's going to happen note for note. Um, it's gotten to the point where my family hates watching those types of shows with me because I've just, oh, this guy's totally about to die. I can totally tell you that he's going to die because this guy's going to let a snake bite him. And then, that guy dies. And then my family's like, thanks for spoiling it. You're literally no fun when it comes to watching shows like this and stuff like that. Or like, if you're ever watching Grey's Anatomy, pay attention to how they like perform CPR on someone and realize that they're doing it horribly wrong. And that if that person was truly in need of CPR, they would most certainly not be receiving the correct CPR that they needed. So I think that's really good for this portion of the stock. It's all kind of basic. This is, I'm not going to say that this is a made up rifle, but the idea behind where this rifle would be going is made up. Like, this is cool stuff. And I think that's kind of, I don't want to say it's sad, but it's almost super frustrating, right? Like, you kind of want there to be some surprise in movies. You don't want to have to sit there and, oh, guys, I already know what's going to happen. Mysterio is going to betray everyone because he's super evil. Like, I think a good example of this happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Captain Marvel. Because um, oh god, what are those things called? Are they, oh gosh, shapeshifters from Captain Marvel? The Skrulls. So the Skrulls, to most comic book fans of the series, you heard that and you're immediately like, oh my god, they're wholly evil. They're gonna do a lot of jacked up stuff. It's so bad. And then they subverted your expectations correctly in that in the reveal, who turned out to be evil was actually Captain Marvel's people that she was kind of under in a way, right? And that the Skrulls actually turned out to be good, which is, that right there is, what they were trying to do with Mysterio, and then they did like a double bluff where they're like, see, you thought we were gonna do the Skrulls all over again, but no, he's actually evil again. Yeah, it's kind of wacky and goofy, and bad story writing is really annoying because it's kind of easy to pick up on. I really, really enjoyed. Oh gosh, Homecoming, and the reason I enjoyed Homecoming is that even though it was, I could see it coming from a mile away that the main Vulture, I forget his actual name in the movie, but Vulture, everyone knew going into the movie that his daughter was the main love interest, right? That right there was not a really big surprise. But what I thoroughly enjoyed about Far From or Homecoming was actually Vulture. I really liked the way that they portrayed him, like those big mechanical wings he was using, like alien technology to accomplish the flight and everything like that. I really, really liked that about that particular movie. It was so cool. There's going to be another movie of Spider-Man, so I wonder if they do the same thing again. I've heard. I heard because it was kind of like a big deal when it happened because everyone thought with how Sony and Marvel like split as bad as they did that they weren't going to do this. I'm I'm in that point in time where I don't want to say I'm burnt out on superhero movies, but we just got done with this huge cinematic universe, right? I grew up in this cinematic universe. I remember Iron Man when it first came out. That was the start to all of this. I was a kid when that happened, um, which is why it's kind of one of those things where it's over to me. Like the first phase, it ended. It's done. The story's wrapped up, relatively nice and clean. Um, I almost don't feel like I need to start the next phase, right? Um, I think what I might be trying to avoid myself is what happened to Star Wars in a weird way because Star Wars, had it ended with the first three movies, I think would be perfect. If they did not go back through and retouch up everything and do like the new CGI stuff and whatnot, it would be fine, right? There was a beginning, a middle, and an end. At the end of the story, everyone felt um, like fulfilled and satisfied. Like, oh, that was a really good story. I really liked that, right? But then you have the first three movies, the prequels, 1, 2, and 3, Revenge of the Sith, The Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones, right? And everyone was like, okay, well, those are certainly not as good as the originals, but you did expand on the universe, and that's pretty cool, right? And then you get into the new movies, 7, 8, and 9, which is yet to be released, and people are kind of sitting here like, oh, okay, you should probably stop making movies because these are getting trash. And then they keep going with Rogue One and the Han Solo movie, and you're still sitting there like, all right, yeah, this is garbage fire right here. This is bad. Please stop. And they just kept going and going and going, and slowly but surely, yeah, it's yeah, Disney is definitely milking the series dry, and that's why I think I'm kind of hesitant about getting into phase two of this Marvel plan, right? Because then, if right now, if I just stay away from going into phase two, I don't get invested into anything, right? If something bad happens and all these, it goes downhill, just like Star Wars did, I'm not invested like I was for the original. So I don't lose the effect that the originals had on me, right? I think that might be a reason why I'm kind of hesitant about going into this new universe, right? I think that's what I'm most concerned about. Though it's possible that's not it. It's just I don't really know. I'm not exactly. Disney's not batting real good right now, and they also have Marvel Studios, uh, and they're making these new movies. I'm a little concerned that the passion that goes into making movies like this is going to be removed and instead replaced with what do we want to give the people so that we make the most money. I don't. When I write my book, in my book, it's in my Google Drive. It's right here, actually. Just go back to Drive. Right here. I have it sitting here. Um, I don't write like that because I want to make money or I want to be famous, right? I write like that because I have a passion for it and I want to tell a story. And I think that's what George Lucas originally had when he first made Star Wars. He had this vision in his head. He wanted to tell a story. He wrote it as a movie and then told this story, and it was wonderful. People loved it, right? And then I think what happened is money came into it, and he realized I could make a lot of money from this. Um, and then he started kind of messing around in places that he shouldn't have been messing around. Okay, so what if I go back and I make the original movies, but I add this new CGI technique into it, and there's this extra little bit where this animal that this clone is, or I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, this stormtrooper is riding on reels back and he falls off of it. Yeah, let's do that. Um, and then re-release it, and we'll make tons of money just like we did on the original, but it'll be the same thing. And then he did that. And then he thought about, oh, well, now I see how much money I'm making. What if we make even more in the same universe so we can make even more money? And then, just from there it keeps devolving into trying to make more and more money, but not having the good storytelling behind it as they go. I don't like how a majority of movies are now CGI. I don't like how a majority of movies nowadays are bad CGI. I think that's my caveat, is the bad, right? Because there are plenty of movies that have CGI scenes in them where, honestly, I could never tell that they were CGI. I've had, if you look up the YouTube channel Corridor Crew, they're a CGI company, basically, or I guess a film company. I'm not entirely sure, to be completely honest with you. But they do like a series where they do VFX artists react to good and bad CGI. I've seen some really crazy scenes from there where it's CGI, but you could never tell it's CGI. And that right there, I think, is why a lot of people might be tired of CGI, is because there's so many bad ones where you can be like, okay, that just ruined my immersion into the film entirely. That's not possible at any way, shape, or form. Why did it just do that? That's so stupid, right? What is ED? Let me find it. EDP. There we go. Yeah, that's a good point. That's why I stopped going to the movies. I watched this thing called anime, because even though it definitely is bad CGI inside anime itself, um, it's kind of nice in a weird kind of way, right? Because you kind of expect that with anime. I don't know. I don't know if my point is coming through clearly, right? Hey, Jennifer. Yeah, beware the beans. Yo, I'm super hungry, and I just realized that we made beanie weenies last night, and they were really good. And I could go grab those like right now and eat. So we're going to put that right there. Dang it. Oh well. I'm I'm fine with this. This stock wholly not realistic in real life, like, at all. This is just straight up would never be possible, but super cool. Yo, man, good luck with that. I've seen some really good writing in, even just small competitions like that. I've been writing for most of my life, um, and I focused more on English in college than I did math. I'm certainly good at math, but I'm far better at English than anything else. Um, so I just writing to me is like cathartic. I was just watching Kevin 183. He makes shooting guns, right? I'm not the if it's the guy I'm thinking of, I'm not wholly impressed with his aesthetics, but I am slightly impressed with the shooting of them. I have an SAT later this month, and no, not PSAT. I don't know why. I would recommend trying to go through for as good of a grade as you can possibly get if you are in fact taking a um, SAT. The reason I say that is because it, see, this is difficult, right? you don't walk into a job interview and say my SAT score is 100%, right? Beyond college admission, you kind of don't need to take the SAT or the ACT. If you intend on going to college or getting any type of higher education, it's a good idea to get as high of a score as you can on the SAT and ACT. It also helps with certain scholarships and stuff like that, but it's not required, which is I'm just take that as you will, basically. I had a cell test in school. It was easy peasy. By the way, I'm in 7th grade, but short as fuck. You're talking about like human cells? Well, I get it doesn't have to be human cells, but like living cells, as in like that type of stuff, right? Yeah, I'm graduated. I'm definitely y'all's peers. That's kind of it's both weird and not. Yeah, animal and plant cells. Yeah, that stuff's easy. I took that ages ago, and I still remember part of it though. If you asked me to like name every part of them and what they do, I probably couldn't get 100% on it, but I would know enough to get by. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is make this grip be able to fold. Oh, that's awkward. There we go. So this is kind of what we're looking at. So this right here, pretty basic. This grip just folds so that it gets more streamlined. Um, I'm I'm pretty sure we could figure out how to do that with this. But for now, we're going to add this as a template and then delete it. So then we can just bring it back later on when we need it. All right, so for this, we're gonna grab it as much as possible. Take a look. Hey, unbrick me. I made a Lotus Mini blowback rubber band pistol today. That's neat, man. I was actually just came up with a really, really innovative and unique design for a blowback system that's a lot more simple than one that we took a look at yesterday on stream. So confused about the middle section of the table. What are you talking about, mate? What you talking about? All right, so to make this fold is kind of hard, actually. But I think we could. Actually, I think it's super easy, and I'm just stupid. If we just take this and put this here. Man, there's a lot of people coming in. Hey, everyone. I guess it's Friday, so it makes things a little bit easier for people to come in and view the stream. We just take and do this, and then put these on. Oh God, it is Thursday. Oh, my bad. Um, wow, did I really just think that clicked into place? I'm stupid. How do you find the valence electrons instead of removing 10? Well, this is how I find the valence electrons instead of removing 10. You press enter just like this, and then you look at this right here. That's how I do it. The only reason I Google search this first is because I want to be very certain I'm correct about this, because I don't want to say something that's wrong, right? and then get you in trouble. So for neutral atoms, the number of valence electrons is equal to the atom's main group number. Number of valence electrons equals the main group number. Neutral atoms. The main group number for an element can be found from its column on the periodic table. For example, carbon is in group 4 and has 4 valence electrons. Oxygen is group 6 and has 6 valence electrons. So you see these numbers at the top of the table? That's how you tell. And then charged atoms is a little bit different, but that's how it's pretty easy, to be honest with you. Facts with ETH and plant cells have one big vacuole, chloroplast, a box-like shape, and is green because of chlorophyll. Yeah, man. That's all. It's good stuff. Knowing stuff like this, honestly, there might just be a day where knowing this saves someone's life. As weird as it may sound, it's definitely possible, right? Oh, not the middle? That's a little bit more difficult. Ooh, we have to actually make this like one longer. That's a good question because I don't know. My science knowledge is very basic. Hey, Dylan. And Unbreak Me. I'm sorry to hear that you're sad today, man. That kind of sucks. I am building... Hey, Alden. Or Aiden, I'm sorry. That I turned into an L for me. I'm building this weird folding rifle. Right here. I feel you, man. I had to use my mom's YouTube account for the longest of times. Yeah, it's just... It is what it is, right? So far, so good. Everything seems to be going just fine. Um, my day was pretty alright, and everything on stream has been working out so far. It depends on whether or not this grip folds or not, because if it folds, I'm like golden, but if it doesn't fold, I'm going to be a little upset, because then I'm going to have to work out how to make it fold. And I don't want to like have to sit here and try to think about this too much. I think I found out a really, really unique way to do. Oh God, this is gonna cut back in this way. I think I found. Oh boy, I think I crashed LDD. I've discovered a way to do a blowback semi-auto with a what's it called? With a firing pin. But I think I found out how to do it a lot easier than the way the other guy was doing it, using actual physics, which is, I mean, it's weird to hear me say that because I really don't use physics all too much. I do, but I don't with my type of stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to making it, but kind of not, because I dread having to do it or not. If it's bedtime for you, man, then I would recommend just staying in bed and just relaxing and probably going to sleep. It is 8:41 for me as well. Like I said, if it's, time for bed, then it's time for bed. It is what it is. Why is this? It just got stuck. Why did it get stuck? Let's actually delete this side out and see if that helps. Okay, it does. I was just in Georgia. I was actually in Warner Robins over the weekend, actually. I went up there for the air show that they had going on. My cousin is stationed up there for his military service, and he's actually he's going to be transferred from there to Alaska because he chose to go to Alaska, the absolute mad lad. So this is my last chance to really see him before it goes to Alaska, unless I go on a cruise. So I went up to actually see him before he went out. Oh, that's not too bad. I've been through Columbus a couple of times as well. I've traveled through most of the United States over summer vacations and stuff like that with my grandparents. So I've seen quite a bit of pretty much everywhere, really. Cullum? I've not been there. Nope, I have not been that far north. I've traveled most of the eastern seaboard. I've traveled a little bit of the west side, but not too much more than just that, really. Um, I could I could look up a United States map. So I'm a Florida resident, so I've been here. Georgia, Alabama, obviously, been through both. South, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and Nevada. All of those I've been to and traveled through pretty well. So, yeah, I mean, looking on a map, it's almost like not most of the United States. Oh, New Jersey as well, since that's like, wait, no, never mind. No, it isn't. Yeah, New Jersey is its own state. Stupid. Um, so I've traveled. I'm well versed. So no, I haven't been to Wisconsin. Have I ever been recognized? I only have 2,000 subscribers and kind of a good international audience. So I'm gonna say it's plausible that I could be recognized, but unlikely that I could be recognized. Right? Um, so it is. It's definitely possible. I've been to every place on the bottom of the U.S. Florida to California. That's nice, man. That when you're young and stuff, you should definitely be able to travel because it's good for the soul to be able to travel like that. I live in Tennessee. That's really interesting. Which part of Tennessee, if you don't mind me asking? I actually used to live in Tennessee. I lived in Tennessee for 2 to 3 years in a very, very small town called Maynardville. It's actually 30 minutes outside of Knoxville. Ooh, and you're originally from Florida. That's scary thoughts right there. And you're headed to New York over the summer? Dang, man. No way. Dang, man. It's like such a small world, like in a weird way, right? I don't mind saying that I used to live in Maynardville because I don't live there anymore. I would love to move back though. I would move back in a heartbeat if I had the money to, because it's a really quiet place. It's really lovely as well. As far as I can tell, it's still like that. At least, hopefully, it is still like that. So I'm kind of happy with that grip. It's not as clean looking as the original one was with the four studs up, but it does fold like we need it to. So I'm fine with that. Canada gang, yeah, man. See, like I said, I have a decent um, international audience now, having someone from Canada, other than Sick, also here. There are plans for us traveling to Japan and maybe Canada this summer. Yeah, man. I would definitely recommend going to Japan. My girlfriend actually lived in Japan for quite some time, and her father was stationed there when he was in the military, and she adored living there. It's definitely a lot more different than living in the United States. So, if you ever get the chance, I would highly recommend going. I don't like Tennessee, but I get why people do. I'm a big city boy. I plan to move over to Vancouver. I don't blame you. I came out of a suburb of Orlando to Tennessee, Maynardville, which only had one red light in like the entire town, basically, and everyone knew everyone, which is kind of why I really liked being there. The neighborhood that I was in, um, it backed up to 10 acres worth of property that someone was selling and that no one ever like went on at all. So I really enjoyed just being able to take my BB gun or pellet gun and moving to the 10 acres and not have to worry about like getting shot at or anything like that because that's how the town was. My sibling is going to live in Japan for 4 hours because her husband's station is getting moved. I'm telling you, man, it's really nice from what I'm told because the atmosphere in Japan is a lot different from here, which is it's interesting to hear that, you know. Yeah, my name is Philip, two L's. You are correct. Dude, you're from Clearwater? No way! I have an aunt that lives in Clearwater. That's so awesome. I go over there all the time because it's Clearwater and it's one of the nicest beaches ever. When am I going to end the stream? Whenever I get finished with this. I was thinking about doing like a really cool, like a case that this weapon folds up into and holds. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, man. Blue Jay Industries is my like my own custom design manufacturing guns. I don't remember the last gun that I've designed for Blue Jay Industries. Yeah, PHILLIP. That's it. Was it just in Clearwater 4 months ago? Damn, man. Yeah, dude. I know it's like it's super weird to like hear where people are coming from and stuff like that, and then realize, oh, really, dude? Because I know people down there. Like that stuff is crazy. Oh boy. All right, it's one of those. Uh, all right. Yes. Boy, howdy. I hate when this happens. Is high school hard or eighth grade? Uh, I would say no. Um, but it depends on your ethic, right? As a student, because nothing is hard if you truly prepare yourself for it. Like if you study, it's going to sound super cliche, but if you study and everything like that, you'll be fine. You'll have no issues at all. But if you want to procrastinate and do fuck all, there's really no other way that I could say that. Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult for you. Are those SK AK SMGs? What are you looking at that you're asking? Oh, is it this? Oh, is it this? I think I know what you're talking about. Hold on, let me pull up a picture because I've got the picture. I just gotta open it. Are you talking about these things? So this is a super weird thing that I saw in my different usernames Discord server. So if we come over here and we get out of this real quick, there's this channel over here called Build Suggestions right here. And I saw someone post that in there, and I said, huh, I should build that. And I did, and I found out later on that This is an actual thing. People have this. So this is what they started with that. And then what they did, gosh, I'm not going to be able to find it. But basically, what they did was take a Glock um, magwell and stuff and marry it to this, because this takes Glock mags anyways, and then move the trigger forward and that type of stuff, which is, it's custom made, like a one-off type thing. It's kind of sad. I've explored more of the U.S. than I have in Houston. No, it's not, man. Houston is just, it's kind of big from what I know, so I wouldn't be too sad about it. Getting into the freshman year is pretty tough if you're weird and don't play sports. I I would say maybe. Um, I gosh, I don't particularly know how I'm gonna say this. Um, I used to be really weird at school and wear weird things at school that were not necessarily easy to understand. Um, and even this, in spite of that, I came out really well with a good friend group for the most part in all of high school. I knew a lot of people. A lot of people knew me. I wasn't bullied at all, even though what I wore definitely should uh, have gotten me bullied. Yeah, they just, oh gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find the image in my different usernames Discord. But like I said, it was a custom one-off build that someone did where they took a Glock and they cut it up so that it fit inside of that section of the gun, and then they moved the trigger group. Well, they used a transfer bar, and they moved the trigger group so that it would all line up and stuff. Like I said, it's a one-off type thing. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to make it. You don't have to tell me, David, if you don't need to. I love History of the Entire World. I guess I've watched that a couple different times. I don't know about the kid turns blue and freaks out thing. See you later, man. Thanks for coming out and watching the stream. I definitely appreciate that. So I'm thinking, so the lore behind this organization right here, EDP, right down here, EDP, is that that's kind of like SCP in a way. So I was thinking about possibly making a case that this sits inside of and folds up real nice, just like this. Um, I don't know. Hey, Killer Frog Gaming. I want to know your opinion. Why do you think people always want to see face reveals, and why there is so much hype about that? Let's I'll use a personal example for this. Why did I go to YouTube? Let's not go to YouTube. Let's just do this. Why did that happen? Can we not do that? When I was in high school, I loved Ping 10. Oh, I still love Ping 10. I really do. He didn't do a face reveal until years. I think a year before I graduated. So I think like 2014, 2015, he finally did a face reveal, and this is what he actually looks like. Um, I think the hype for a lot of people when it comes to this is because they just want to see a face behind the voice. They want to kind of think about, what does he look like when he's talking? Is he what I imagined, right? Because he had a really deep voice, and for some reason I thought that he'd be a lot bigger than what he was. And then he did his face reveal, and it turns out that he's about my build, though he's a little shorter than I am, which is I think why so many people want to hype up themselves about face reveals and stuff. SCP is secure, contain, and protect. It's this fictitious thing. It's turned into a cluster duck. Um, but basically, it was like a no. Why? Okay, what a weird thing to know my location for. It was like a creepy pasta thing where they talked about like all these um, paranormal incident type things that happened, um, and they needed like special protection from uh, mankind and stuff like that. So the Plague Doctor is kind of one of my favorites because he's a super cool looking one. But if we go here, you can read up like all these bios and stuff like that. So is contained within a standard secure humanoid containment cell in research sector O2 at Site 19. SCP-049 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it. During transport, SCP-049 must be secured with a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints, and monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards. While 49 is generally cooperative with most Foundation personnel, outbursts with certain changes of behavior are to be met with elevated force. Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with 49 during these outbursts. In the event 49 becomes aggressive, the application of lavender has been shown to produce a calming effect on the entity. Once calmed, 49 generally becomes compliant and will return to containment with little resistance. So this whole it's just like it's a creepypasta thing, and it turned into a lot of people took it even further, and they've now made this whole lore and stuff behind it. It's a really cool community when you get to the best of the community, and it's a really disgraceful and cringy community when you get to the downright bad stuff. So yeah, he can resurrect people as plague infecting zombies. Oh, I see. You know about SCP. I just I love how deep the lore goes for this. It is most communities. You're definitely you're right about that. I'm not too big into the SCP Foundation, though. There's really cool short movies on YouTube that are fan made, um, that I really like to view. They're just not they might not be the best in some certain instances. Yeah, they sound super professional. People put a lot of really creative ideas into them, and that right there, that's enough for me to really like it and enjoy stuff like this. All right, so I was going to now save this as complete version 1. And then we're going to delete out this top rifle for now. And now we're going to design a case around this stuff, which should be pretty fun to do. I'm kind of looking forward to it. So I was thinking about doing just super basic case in gold. Yeah, it should definitely be gold. That's a really good idea. So what we're going to do is put one of these here. Nice, man. Glad to see you made it. Hey guys, what's up? Nothing much. Just continuing on with what we're doing. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a layer of this, and we're gonna make it so that we can stack it as high as we need to go. So if we put this as a 3, we just continue this pattern down. Should be fine. I'm not looking forward, or I'm not trying to make this so that it's perfect in real life. We're trying to make it so that it's nice looking. We get like a really good render on it. I have a 30-06 shell, a 12 gauge shell, and a 410 shell. That's pretty neat, man. I've got quite a few shells myself. I'm looking to add to it over the weekend. I'm actually going out to the range over the weekend with my aunt, uncle, my sister, and my dad. Should be really nice. We're actually going out to. I won't say, just in case someone's trying to like stop me or something. Just in case. Yeah, sending pics inside of a YouTube chat would be interesting. Not that you would abuse it, but I'm certain in like other live streams, people would probably definitely abuse it, and YouTube would probably not be too happy if something really bad happened. Yeah, I would just stay away from memes chat. I generally try to stay away from memes chat, though I do post on occasion. Ooh, a 40mm Beaufort shell from World War II. That's pretty neat. I don't see one of those every single day. I want to hear your experiences with Homecoming. Don't have to share if it's personal. I personally don't mind sharing my type of stuff like this because it's I think it's good for people to hear other people's experiences. So I didn't go to Homecoming. I went to prom, but I'm going to still share my story because Homecoming and prom, they're basically the same thing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. They're basically the same thing. One of them is just a little bit more exclusive than the other. So, boy, where to begin? I was dating this girl at the time. I'm not going to say her name for the sake of not being that asshole. And yeah, this is going to be difficult to talk about without getting too graphic. The relationship, as far as I could tell, was fine. It turns out it wasn't fine. I was pretty oblivious to some of the issues going on in the relationship. And by the time I had been told about them in the relationship, it was basically too late. And we could no longer continue said relationship. Now then, I had already purchased prom tickets, and everything was already set up for us to go to prom. There was nothing too fancy. I rented a tux and things like that. Like I said, nothing too fancy. It was just one of those things where at the worst point in time, I was not a good boyfriend. The changes that I was trying to make were happening too slow to try to save the relationship. The changes that I had to make, in all honesty, because I'm man enough to say this, they shouldn't have been there in the first place. And I lost the relationship because of that, which is, it is what it is. I'm over it now. I'm in a really good, healthy relationship that I'm definitely better in this one than I am in the previous one. So I still wanted to go to prom because
I spent the money on it, and prom tickets, they're decently expensive. Plus the suit, and I just didn't want to disappoint my family and tell them that, hey, I broke up with her. We're not going as a couple. We're only going as friends. Um, I don't want to have to tell my family that because I really did not want to disappoint them. I didn't want them to be upset that I wasted so much money on a suit and stuff like that, right? This is all really bad excuses. If your family truly loves you, they will understand all of this and they will be fine with you not going. So that's that. My experience was basically that I didn't like it. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I say that I didn't like it because I went with someone that I was no longer with. And when you're surrounded by people who are all really enjoying the fact that they're with people that they're in relationships and stuff like that, yeah, you're not going to enjoy it. Um, I would, my advice out of this whole story, though that was horrible storytelling on my part, that was probably not as coherent as it should have been. Um, I truly would recommend that you go with a group of friends because even if something horrible happens, you have your friends. And having your friends is really important. And sometimes that one friend with a really clutch joke or something is all you need to make good of a bad situation. So if you say something that's bad or you do an action that's horrible, having your friend right there to help you with that's good. It's good for you to be able to do something like that. So definitely go with a friend group. Um, if you go alone, that's fine. Don't try to stress over finding a girlfriend or something to go with. Just go. I say to go because it's a good social experience. Even if you don't go to get that social experience, here's what you will probably get. Uh, you're probably going to get a couple fight out of it, like someone breaking up with someone at it because they did something stupid. That would probably happen at least once, potentially more times with that, which is it's going to be entertaining for you because it's not you and you're on the sidelines. My condolences if it is you. Rest in peace. You'll probably find people who don't know how to dance on the dance floor, which again, it's going to be super funny for you, embarrassing for them. And there's just so much stuff that could happen at prom and homecoming that it's worth going just to see that stuff happen. So, like I said, I would definitely recommend going. Just for stuff like that, just to be able to experience how dumb some people can be and stuff. It's truly, I was gonna say funny. It's I don't I guess it's not funny so much as there are some stories that can come out of it where you're just like, dang, yeah, I was there for that. Could you believe that I was there for that? Because that stuff was crazy. That type of stuff, right? So yeah, definitely go. From shortest to longest, I have 380 ACP 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, 30 SPI, 357 Magnum, 5.7 by 28, 300 black, 762 by 39, 556 by 45, 3030 Winchester, 762 by 51 NATO, 762 by 54 rimmed, 30-06, 300 Win Mag, 50 BMG, 20mm Vulcan, 25mm Bushmaster, 27mm, 30mm all inert, plus a 40mm Beaufort shell. That's a pretty nice collection, man. So that's pretty good to hear. I went with a bunch of other friends to joke around because we mainly came for the food and fruit punch, mainly to dance too. Like I said, man, just going and having a good time like that that right there is more or less what it's about. It's really not about the amount of people who go to get promiscuous. I think is a good PG way of saying that. It truly is meant to be a good time. Um, it's it's nice to go. So then, when you go back to school and you hear the stories about what happened after prom, you can say, "Yeah, I was there for it." That type of stuff is crazy. I had a friend of mine. Oh my goodness, this stuff was crazy. He broke up with his girlfriend right after prom, right after they got promiscuous in the back of his car. They pulled over to the side of the road into some type of shopping plaza. I don't know the name of it. Well, I know the name of it, but I knew the name of it. There we go.
I can't English today for some reason. Um, they got promiscuous in his trunk because he drove an SUV, so trunk, the big portion in the back. And then, literally right after that, basically said, "Yeah, we're done. We're through," and broke up with her, and then called a cab to take her home for her. Yeah, it was like I said. Even if you don't go with a woman, you can still be a part of like that type of stuff right there. And then you can be like, "Yeah, I was there. They looked so fine on the dance floor together. Like everything in the relationship was fine." And then like right afterwards, he broke up with her. I definitely don't condone that, by the way. Don't get promiscuous with someone and then break up with them, especially on prom night. That's rough. Yeah, man. See, just you're you're that guy. You're the guy that went and got the main scoop on everything, and then you become real popular for a little while at school because people, "Oh, dude, did you see what happened? Can you tell the story?" And then you sit there and you get to tell the story to a couple people, and they're all sitting there like enticed by what you're telling them because they really want to know about it and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the type of person you become when you just go. Just go and enjoy yourself. Be free. Funny thing is that a lot of people like to listen to my voice because it's deep and not annoying. See, man, you're that guy that people come to just to hear stories from. Not a bad guy to beat. Be entirely honest with you. I don't want to go to prom or homecoming because I lack the social skills to do so. It's not about having social skills, dude. You can literally, this is all you have to do. Most proms, they have a table that you can sit at. I recommend, again, going with a group of friends so that you can commandeer a table and you don't have to sit there and try to force conversation or anything like that. Step one, go with friends, find a table to take over. That table has now become home operations. Step two, grab a plate, grab a glass. Step three, get food and get punch. Step four, sit at the table and eat and drink all night long. When it's over, go home. Congratulations. You've had zero social interaction at prom other than the people that are sitting at the table with you, and you have now survived. Like I said, it's it's not hard. You just gotta go with people. The second you go with people is the second you'll be fine. Homecoming football game was yesterday, and I had stuff on my story about it too. Yeah, man, that's all easy clout right there. Think about all the you'll get from that, man. I'm kidding, by the way, because I know your personal details and stuff, but I just want to put it out there that that's a joke. Oh man, fun times. Good luck. I went to a kind of crazy high school. I was actually looking it up the other day because I was talking about this on my different usernames Discord about how like crazy some of the stuff that happened at my school was. Um, so the school that I went to was actually built in 2005, and it pulled from quite a few different areas in terms of the students that came into the school. And when they did this, they brought a whole bunch of gangs together. I don't know why. I'm sorry that I laughed so hard when I said that. And the first year or so of the school being open, it was pretty much gang violence almost every day at school. We're talking about literal stabbings at school. I wasn't there at the time. I actually graduated 10 years later in 2015, and the school had straightened out by then for the most part. Though some of the fights that I saw at school were pretty damn crazy. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where crazy school, man, crazy school. Have you heard of Undertale, the game? Yes, yes, I have. I've heard about it quite a few different times. I heard about it mostly because when it came out, it was incredibly good. A lot of people loved playing it. I've looked into it a couple different times because um, there's this really cool. I don't know what to call it, but there's this really cool genre of music where people. I don't know what to call it, but they put like millions of piano notes into a song, uh, and when you play it, it sounds really, really good. And that right there, uh, a lot of people did it with Megalovania, and I know Megalovania came from Undertale, so I did research into it for that type of stuff. Yeah, more story plot. Middle school fights are pathetic, absolutely pathetic. Um, I think we are seeing a trend today where kids, I want to say they think they know how to fight, but they truly don't know how to fight. So when the time comes that they do get into a fight, it's miserable to watch because they're bad at it. Not that I want kids to be good at fighting, because that would basically mean that there's something wrong, like consistently that kids have to now fight 24/7. I just I don't want to have to sit down and watch bad fights. I don't know how to. I think you guys get the point, right? If you're gonna fight something out, at least be good at fighting. People can barely do schoolwork though because it's Houston and there's live music from cars 24/7. Eh, you know what it is. Has it? I thought Migliovania was specifically from Undertale. Oh, I saw that right there. But then, oh, okay. Well, it's Earthbound. Okay, I see. I I see. Well, it is what it is. I'm not really into RPGs as much as I used to be, so I've never played Undertale. The Homestuck series and stuff like that is supposed to be good and whatnot, but I'm not particularly interested in, I guess, either of them, really. Have you ever been caked by a dress shoe? Nah, not really. Toby Fox made some music for Homestuck, including Megalovania. Yeah, I just read up on that. I'm not the. It's kind of whatever to me, to be frank. I definitely like Megalovania, but not. I'm not like a gamer, really. I am, but I'm not. I play games, but I don't sit here and like devote millions of hours into the same game over and over again. So this is the case, and no matter which way you put it down, you can open it from either side. So it's pretty neat. Have I ever made music in general? Yeah. There was a man. This is gonna sound really nerdy. The middle school and high school that I went to. Let me count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 would be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This right here is the middle. So the middle school and high school that I went to, they had a course actually called gaming, and the course was basically you would sit down in front of a computer and they would give you a game making software and you would make a game and you would kind of understand the process behind making certain games and trying to make it fun and adding your own unique rules and stuff like that. And all of the assets that we had to make for that had to be our own. We couldn't use any copyrighted material at all. So we all made our own music. We were on Macs, so we had GarageBand available to us. So we would make our own music, our own sound effects. We would make our own sprites. We made everything on our own there. Those were good times. I really, really enjoyed that class because me and my partner, his name is Ryan, uh, we were really good at doing our job in that class. So we finished all of our assignments earlier. And we would spend the rest of class time experimenting with what the game software we could use could do. What we were using was actually Multimedia Fusion 2, which is a really basic and easy to learn software in case you're ever like trying to find a gaming software to try and make. And we were experimenting mainly with seeing, okay, can we do this? Can we do that? And there was a really popular game at the time called Tank Trouble. I'm sure some of these school kids still play it nowadays. But our school, the middle school, ended up actually banning playing Tank Trouble and any and all search queries inside of Google and stuff like that. All of it was banned because kids would just get together and play that like for hours instead of doing actual work. So what me and Ryan decided to do with our
gaming and our software knowledge of said program, we actually decided that it'd be really cool if we made our own version of Tank Trouble and then distributed it on a USB stick throughout the school, and you can't block a USB stick from being plugged into a USB port on any computer and then running an application. So we did. We actually ended up making a really basic, dumbed down version of Tank Trouble, and the kids loved it. They loved playing it, especially since Tank Trouble was blocked. So, how was I not able to eyeball it? I'm talking and doing this at the same time. It's trying to multitask like this is. I don't want to say it's difficult. It's just, eh. Yeah, man, I don't mind. I don't know if I'm gonna check it sometime soon, but I should. I used to do all sorts of things. You know, as a kid, you dabble in a little bit of everything. So I used to this guy that I grew up with across the street. His name is Jacob. He used to really love dinosaurs. So he would just sit down and draw comic strips of dinosaurs, but he never really knew like any stories or anything to tell with them. So that's actually where I come in. I would actually write the stories, and he would draw them and illustrate them and everything. And that was way back in elementary school, ages ago. I haven't seen him in quite some time, actually. I haven't talked to him in quite some time either. Boom. This is our wonderful case, all nice and closed. So we're going to save. And then we're going to change the color because gold is definitely not the color we are using. When I think of something like this, I think of maybe a silver, like just straight up metallic silver, like, the most basic possible. And where it hinges open, I think it'd be really cool to have those hinges in black just to show where it hinges. Yeah. Yeah, man, I'd love to hear. I was never really good at making music at all. The music that I made, the best way to sum up the music I made is actually within iTunes. Uh, if you just come over here and you type in space music, whenever it decides to load, this right here, this artist and album, yeah, that's basically what I could make inside of GarageBand because it was as simple as you pressed a couple buttons to play a string chord and you held it out for really long, uh, and you just like moved up and down the musical scale and eventually got where you wanted to go. That's about as good as I got. Did you got banned from Discord for posting something about Suicide Forest? Is that what you're telling me? Oh, damn, dude. Dang. Ooh, I need to change the color that this case is. This metallized silver, when it renders inside of Studio, is going to be uh, an absolute nightmare. Heck. Did I miss that whole section? I did. Well, I'm too lazy to fix that, so we're just going to select all this and rotate this around and call it a day. So let's change this color to a different color. Let's go from metallized silver to a flat color again. Oh yeah, what a gaudy looking suitcase. Oh my goodness. Ah, that's bad. Let's just do, I mean, like an olive green would be super. That's honestly not bad. I think we'll start there. Yeah, I think that's fine. All right. Well, that's basically all I wanted to do on stream, to be completely honest with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here because I really want to render this and then show the person who created the well, at least, yeah. I think you guys get the point. So thank you guys for coming out and watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to see more videos like this, remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. If you want to see me post the rendered image of this, don't forget to join my different usernames Discord, though most of you probably are, or in Daniel's case, he's been banned, so sorry, mate. Rest in peace. F in the chat. Anyhow, I'll see you guys later in another YouTube video, and yeah, that'll be that.